Hey guys, Erica here, Barefoot instructor. I'm going to lead you through a deep stretch class today. We're going to start by placing our feet far away from each other with our left foot facing the front and our right foot turned slightly out away from the body. We're going to walk over that right leg and take a deep stretch. On every exhale, we're going to try and inch our upper body a little bit closer to that leg. Then we're going to bend that left knee, make sure that left knee is reaching straight to the front of our mat, to the front of our room. And as we lengthen the left leg, we're going to send the head down and the tail up. So really deepening that stretch. We're going to soften both knees, turn both toes to the right side of the room. Checking in with that hip, making sure that it's not swinging open to the front, but instead it's nice and seated. We're going to bend that back knee. And lengthen. We're going to flex the front foot. Option to put that bend back in the left leg if you want. Option to take the right hand to the right ball of the foot and draw it into the midline. Placing that right foot down, stepping that left foot back. We're in our lunge position. We're going to use our arms to draw circles with our hip. So you can keep it nice and tight in if that's giving you a good stretch and if that helps you to feel more comfortable, or if you want to take a few more risks, you can really reach out and away from your center balance. Then we're going to drop that left knee down, uncurl the toes. On the next exhale, we're just simply going to get that body a little bit closer to our mat. We're going to turn out our front foot, come down to our forearms. You can stay here or you can reach your right arm up to the ceiling. Mobilize through hand, wrist, and fingers. You can stay here or you can reach that right arm behind your back and hold, opening up that shoulder and your focus to the back wall. You can stay here or you can bend that left leg, reaching down and grabbing the foot with your right hand. If you have hold of that foot, go ahead and let it go. If you have your arm behind your back or up in the air, we're going to replace it down. Pressing back up. We're going to heel toe this right foot in a little bit closer to the middle and also close to our body. So instead of our stretched out shape, we want to have more of a 90 degrees. We're going to walk those hands up to the knee, tuck the pelvic bone under, send the hips forward. And we're going to send those hips all the way back, extending that right leg straight out in front of us, reaching down, laying the upper body on the leg. Sending the weight back into the right foot, turning out to face the front. We'll take a deep stretch here. It's okay if your heel doesn't touch the ground, but you don't want your knee to roll in and face the front of the room. So make sure that you're using this elbow to promote rotation. Stay here for a few breaths. As we come up, we're going to reposition our feet so it's the opposite of where we started. So that means our right foot toes are facing forward, left foot toes are facing away from the midline, walking down to the left leg. Use your breath to release over that left leg. Bending that right knee, making sure it's coming straight forward. And as your head reaches down, your tail reaches up, lengthening that right leg back to straight. We're going to soften both knees, turn both toes to face the left side of our mat. Check it in with that hip, making sure it's seated down, not swinging open. And we're going to bend that back knee. And lengthen, flex the front foot. If you want, you can add a bend in that back knee again. If you want, you can take that left hand to the left ball of the foot and pull that foot into the midline. And release that front foot, reach that right one back to a big lunge. And draw in circles. Letting that right knee drop down, uncurl the toes. On your next exhale, get that hip a little bit closer to your mat. And turning out that left foot, toes away from the middle body, coming down to your forearms. You can stay here, you can reach your left arm up. Mobilizing hand, wrist, and fingers. You can stay here, you can reach that left arm behind your back. And you can stay there, or you can bend that right leg, bringing the right foot up to the left arm. If you've got a hold of that right foot, go ahead and let it down. If your arm's behind your back or up in the air, we're going to place it back in front, pressing up, heel toeing the foot to the middle, and scooting it back a little bit closer so we have this 90-degree angle. Walking up, hands to the knee, tucking the pelvic bone under, sending it forward. And sending the hips back to the heel, forward fold on the left leg. And we're going to switch the weight back over to that left side again, turning it out to face the front. And last stretch on this side. From here, we're going to go ahead and find our own way to bring it down to seated. Bottoms of the feet together. Taking our left hand to our left knee, pressing the left shoulder in the middle, spiraling and looking away over the right. And we're going to switch, same thing, other side. Keeping those sits bones glued back to the mat, walking the hands forward. Walking them over to the right side. Walking them over to the left side. Walking them back to center and then rolling up. Scooting the tail a little bit further away from the heels so we have more of a diamond shape. We're going to place our right arm down on the mat, take our left arm up and over. Hold this lateral stretch. Exhale, contract, glue the belly button to the spine. Curve and look down at the right knee. And then open the left arm for 3 slow circles, following the hand with your head in focus. After 3, we're going to shampoo the hair, open up the elbow and the focus to the ceiling. Exhale, contract and round over. Bring everything to the middle. Roll it up. Same thing, other side. Left arm reaches down to the mat, right arm stretches over. Exhale, contract, round over, look at that left knee. And 3 slow circles of the right side, following the hand with your head in focus. After the 3rd one, shampoo the hair. Open up that elbow and the focus to the ceiling. Exhale, contract, round over, bring it to center. Roll it up. Bring those legs straight through, reaching down to grab the balls of the feet if you can, or wherever you can get a hold of it. Working through our breath again. On every exhale, we're going to get a little closer to our legs. Keep a hold of the left foot. Right arm comes free, it threads through, stays really close to the left foot, looking over the left shoulder. Option to send the fingertips to the front and look under the left arm. Bringing it back up to neutral. And same thing, other side. And bringing it back. Arching and looking through. and release and roll up. And take those legs to straddle. So just take them as far as you can with keeping straight knees. If you need to inch them in closer together, that's totally fine. We are going to do an option to get a deeper stretch here today. So if you have really good spread, then you can go on to that second part. If not, just kind of stay where you are. So we are protecting our joints. That's the most important thing. So speaking of protecting our joints, make sure that our knees and our toes are facing up to the ceiling. As we walk forward until we do version 2, for people that have a really good split, we don't want to roll knees in. We're going to keep them up to the ceiling. So we're going to really turn on our rotators and hold our legs in the position that they're in as we walk forward. Walking over to the right diagonal. Make sure that left leg doesn't collapse and go dead on that side. Walking over to the left diagonal, making sure the right leg stays active. Walking to the center. Now here's the tricky part. It's the part I always tell us not to do in class. If you have a pretty good split on the middle, you can roll forward to your belly, which means that your toes are now going to point forward. And then we're going to roll back, starting by putting that pelvic bone down as quickly as possible, walking up and rolling up through the spine. So we're going to end class on our back today. So we're going to take it over to one side, bring it down to our backs. Let me adjust my mat here. And when you get to your back, bring those knees into the chest, give them a big hug. If you're like me, you had a really long week, things are starting to change again, maybe transition a little bit back into some form of our new normal, maybe some memory of what we had going on before. And so that can be a challenge to make big changes. So we really need to give our body the time and attention that it needs. Stirring those femurs in the hip socket. You can do both legs at the same time. You can do one leg and then the other. Find what feels good for you. Bottoms of the feet together, grab those feet, pull them in to the middle body, then split the legs. Happy baby. You can stay static. You can rock side to side. You can extend one leg and then the other. Just explore in the way that you feel like it today. Then we're going to let those legs down, reach our fingertips away from our toes. Bending that left knee, right arm crosses the body to grab that knee, placing it down, left arm opens up behind you. You can look back at the left hand, you can look forward, you can look back and forth if that feels good. I also like to add some arm movement, tapping my left arm up and then down with a long straight line, and then repeating that with a bent arm, especially if I've built up any tension in my shoulder. It's really helpful. And then that knee is going to help us draw everything back into our hug position where we started, rocking one side and then the other. Reaching the fingertips away from toes. This time we're taking that right knee across the body with the left hand on top, sending our right arm back behind us, and we can look forward as I am now. We can look back at our right arm. And we can also add that movement if we want, keeping that straight arm, tapping up and down. It doesn't even have to tap the floor, it can float the whole time, if that feels good. and then bending the elbow and floating it up and down. And when we're ready, that right knee connection to the navel is going to lead us back in to that hugging position again. You can rock right and left. Reaching the fingertips away from toes. Drilling those heels into the ground, pointing and flexing the feet. Give yourself a little heel rock. And you can stay on your mat as long as you need to. Do any other stretches that you might need to. And I look forward to stretching with you all again next time. Thank you so much.